Hello, I'm Suz Entzeroth, the host of Cup of St. Joe, a podcast where we explore the faith stories and personal witness of the St. Joe's Cotterville Parish. Today's episode, I'll be interviewing Father Fennewald, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So grab a cup of coffee and enjoy. Well, thank you for doing this, and welcome to the parish.
Thanks, Suz.
So we always like to start off with an icebreaker question.
Okay.
It's kind of fun. So if you could swap lives with someone for a day, who would it be?
That's a hard question, mostly because I love being a priest. So what priest would I want to swap lives with? Going to Benedictine College, I'm familiar with the religious life and with monks. And so there's a monk there who said that if he had 10 other lives, he said he would be a monk in 9 of them and a diocesan priest in the 10th. And so, yeah, maybe it would be a monk. So it would be like Father J or someone, some religious. Yeah.
All right, Father J. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, welcome to the parish.
Thank you.
How long have you been here now?
I have been here 13 days.
13 days. Okay. So you are fresh and new to the parish.
Super fresh. Many of my things are still in boxes. Yeah.
Okay. But hey, you got to move into the new rectory.
That's right.
Like you timed that perfectly.
I really did. Yeah.
All right. Tell everybody, what's it like in there? You know, is it like
It's very
updated?
nice.
Yeah.
It's updated, but there's still like pieces of, it's not entirely a home yet. There's still some like residual from the different construction equipment and like drywall and screws and things. And so it's mostly there. We're really close. We're really close.
Who gets to decorate?
Sarah Hoffman, I hear, had a big hand in decorating. Yeah. And Father Fisher, I think, has a gift with that as well.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. He has a taste for like interior decorating a little bit, huh?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, Sarah did the youth room downstairs. It looks awesome. So I know she's got a taste for it. Well, so tell us a little about your upbringing. You came from Holy Infant, right? Before you came here.
That's right.
So were you always from this area or did you grow up somewhere else?
I grew up in North County, in Spanish Lake. And so my parents went to Rosary High School, and I have 2 younger sisters. So myself, my sister Allison, my sister Emily, so I have 1 niece and 1 nephew as well. And yeah, we grew up in Spanish Lake and we moved to Troy, Missouri. So before I went to high school, we were in Troy, Missouri, moved more out this direction, went to public high school, Catholic grade school. We would go to mass every weekend as a family. I remember even like often when we were on vacation, we'd still make a point to go to mass, which is such a gift and almost surprises me a little bit looking back on it. But I remember one day as an angsty teenager asking my mom, like, why do we have to go to mass on Sundays? And she just said, because it's what we do, which is a great answer and it's true, but it was deeply dissatisfying for me. And so I was nervous that kind of, we were faithful to going to mass, but I was nervous to ask any more questions about the faith because my concern was, what if I ask the wrong question and this whole thing just falls like a house of cards? And so there were people as I was growing up and I was in grade school and started going to middle school youth group. There were people who helped me to ask those questions and to answer those questions and even to ask better questions. That was really pivotal for me. And as I started going to youth group and my sisters starting to go to youth group, my parents both started to dive into different faith sharing groups. And so it's just been really cool to see them go deeper and deeper in the faith and go on retreats. And but yeah, that actually I think forms my deep love for questions. Growing up, we played a lot of sports and my parents were really supportive, really encouraging. Really encouraged us to do our best and to give our best. And I always wanted a brother growing up. And yeah, now as a priest, I have many brothers. And so
got lots of them now.
Yeah. So that's just a little bit about me. Like you said, I was at Holy Infant for the last 2 years, my first assignment as a priest.
All right. So going back to like how you were, I guess, your faith formation as a kid. So you had a lot of questions. Did you feel like your parents were deep in their faith, or was it kind of like we go to church, but we don't really have discussions about it?
Right.
Is that kind of how it was?
Yeah, my impression was, and I don't remember when I first asked my parents this, but my parents and my grandparents gave the impression that, in their day, you just wouldn't ask the priest questions. That wasn't a thing that you would do. And if you had questions about the faith, it meant that you had too little faith.
Like you were doubting it.
Right. And so there was a form of disrespect perhaps to ask some questions, or that maybe there was even like a shame that you should know the answer to these questions already.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't feel free. My impression is they didn't feel free to ask those questions, which makes sense why they wouldn't know how to answer them when their kids ask. And so I'm just really grateful that, that's not really the spirit of things. And it was just so helpful for me to know that Jesus isn't afraid of questions, the church isn't afraid of questions, and that there are answers to these things. So I think that, they had a hard time, which is really what pushed me more and more to youth group and people there.
Yeah, I think it's really important, especially for our young kids and adults too, who maybe didn't have the ability or didn't know how to ask the questions, but they have the questions and want the answers about our faith.
Right.
Is to know how to defend, or at least give an explanation to why it is we believe what we believe.
Right.
Because you're going to have people who aren't Catholic ask you, especially the young, when I went to college, that was really when it kind of came up. Mm. These other people were like, why do you guys do the sacraments? Like, what's this whole thing about with, the saints and Mary and all the things that people don't not necessarily understand? They might not agree with it because they don't understand. But if we as Catholics don't understand ourselves, how are we supposed to, stand up for our faith or, explain it, defend it?
Yeah.
And that's really important.
I agree. And the answer isn't, well, we just have to memorize all these explanations, but how freeing and how disarming it is when people ask us a question and we're able to say, like, I actually don't know the answer to that, but I know where to go, or I know who to ask. And that's just such a disarming thing. It's like, oh, you're confident there are answers, but you don't feel the need to have all of the answers. So there's something really genuine about that disposition, I think.
Okay, so when you were in high school, you went to public high school, you said?
That's right, yeah, Troy Buchanan High School.
Oh, Troy, okay, nice. I was going to ask you, what high school did you go to?
Yeah, so I would compete against Howell and Fort Zumwalt. And so it's just funny to be in this neck of the woods where that's more the norm.
Yeah, for sure. So after high school, so would you say your faith was growing as you were going through those youth group programs?
Absolutely, yeah. I would say that my faith really took a big turn, a real deepening when I was on my 8th grade confirmation retreat. We had Luke 18, and so that was a real serious turning point for me. And it was, noticed by my parents. Like my mom definitely noticed a change in me after that retreat. My teachers noticed a change in me after that retreat. And so that was really a beginning of, taking things more seriously and realizing like, oh, this is real. And Jesus is a person and not just an idea, but he's a person, and he wants a relationship with me.
So when you say you're taking it more seriously, what does that look like? What kind of things were you doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I moved when we were in 5th grade, and moving schools is a really hard thing. And so there are a lot of like approaches that I had to the way that I would carry myself from that move, which is kind of a funny thing. And I think that most kids have that experience. But then I saw in these male role models at youth group that they were free to be themselves, and they were like free to be like silly, and yet that there was an ease about them. I couldn't name all these things, but I felt stiff and I felt self-conscious, but they didn't seem to have that. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, if I want to live that way, I want to start doing the things that they're doing. And well, they're going to the adoration chapel and praying, and they're staying close to the sacraments and going to confession. And so just by being around them and being formed just like in a subtle kind of way, that really changed the way that I lived, the way that I carried myself, and brought me to Mass more often, brought me to the chapel more often, and allowed Jesus the space to work.
Yeah, he was moving in your heart.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in adoration. I feel like that's a huge part of people's formations. If you're in adoration, that he can really move for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. Okay, so walk us through how you became a priest. Like, so you were, getting on fire for your faith, and then what was the next step in moving towards priesthood? Yeah,
it's funny. I didn't expect to be a priest. I mean, a lot of priests, they can tell stories about when they were young and growing up. They would play Mass, and that was just never my experience. But even as I was around this time in high school, I knew that if I wanted to take the faith seriously, then like conforming my will to His will is a real thing. I mean, that's what we pray in the Our Father. And so to take that seriously, But when I would go to the adoration chapel, every once in a while, little old ladies would stop me as I was praying, and they would make sure that they'd come over and they would say, "I just want to tell you that I think you would make a good priest." They would say, it would sound a little bit more like, "You would make such a good priest." And I would say, "Yeah, whatever, Gladys. Like, you don't know me. You don't know my life." Her name wasn't Gladys, but I just think that's a fun old lady name. And it was easy to shrug off because I just thought to myself, like, "Oh, you just haven't seen a man under the age of 40 in the adoration chapel, and you know we need priests, so you're just shooting from the hip." And when I share that with people, they're like, "Wait, they said that to you in adoration and you didn't think that was God?" And I'm like, "Yeah, listen, I was in high school. Like, I wasn't." But I shrugged it off in that way. And as I continued to want to do God's will in my life, I knew that I needed to at least have like these options on the table. Like, even though I wanted to be a husband and father, I knew that I had to at least be open to the possibility of being called to be a priest. And then there was a moment in high school when I could really honestly pray that, like, "Jesus, whatever you want. I really hope it's to be a husband and father, but whatever you want." And that opening was really crucial. And fast forward to being in college and the formation I received at Benedictine College. That's where I studied my undergrad. The people that I surrounded myself with and the formation I received there really helped me to be open. There was one night, it was the night before a first date with a really good friend of mine. So I remember the night well, and I found myself in adoration, and there were focus missionaries going and praying with people. And so before they came over to pray with me, I just felt inspired. I don't know if you've had this experience, like you can tell this idea didn't come from you, like it came from outside of you. And so it's just really clear because I didn't normally pray this way. I remembered a quote from St. Francis de Sales that said, "One Our Father prayed with your whole heart is worth more than many prayed mindlessly."
Wow.
So I didn't have any prayer materials at the time, so I just felt invited to pray that way. So I tried to pray every word of the Our Father and mean it. And if I could get to a word or a phrase that I couldn't mean, I would just start over. So I get to "Thy will be done," and I can't really mean it with my whole heart. Start over again. Can't really. And I'm not really thinking about priesthood at the time. I'm not really even thinking about the date either. It's just kind of how I felt invited. I get to "Thy will be done" the third time, and I pray it as much as I can with my whole heart and finish the Our Father. And shortly thereafter, the pair of focus missionaries come over and ask to pray with me and pray with me. And after they finish, one of them looked at me, the male missionary, and he said, "You can take this for whatever it's worth. It might sound a little strange, but when I was praying with you, I saw Our Lady, and she was standing over you. And she pointed at you, and she said, 'He has a priestly heart, and I want it.'"
Wow. That like gave me chills.
Well, in the moment, it didn't really give me chills. I just laughed out loud, basically. I just kind of laughed. Like, "Yeah, whatever, Jesus. Like, I see what you're doing. You get me to pray the Our Father and Thy will be done, and then you send me whatever the heck this guy is." Like, my first response wasn't chills. My first response was just to shrug it off the same way I did the little old ladies. I'm like, "Sorry, Jesus, I'm still going on that date tomorrow. Like, it's too late." That was my initial response. And shortly after, I tried to leave the chapel and go to start my homework. And I couldn't leave because I realized in a moment, like, "Oh, wait, this isn't like a random, like, little old lady. Like, this is someone who's about my age, who's holier than I am, who knows plenty of my classmates who are holier than I am. So if I can't just shrug this off, then Jesus, maybe this is actually you, and maybe this is real, and then maybe I actually have to do something about this." And I just remember like it was a deep and heavy moment and a beautiful moment that really set me on this path of just a lot of little yeses.
Yeah. And that's important I feel like a lot of people to understand, like, God's path for you isn't always just one big whoa moment.
Yeah.
It can be these little yeses and these people in your lives that are subtly telling you things, or like, coincidences, but they're not coincidences. It's actually God moving.
Right.
But if you actually are like paying attention, like, wait, is this you, God? Or is this just, me shrugging it off,
Totally.
So paying attention, I think that's important, is like people paying attention to when God's actually speaking and moving. And I think he does have to say it a lot because we're not always listening. It's like,
Right.
Hey, I got to send multiple people your way, or like do certain things multiple times for us to pay attention. But because I've kind of explained that to my kids, they're like, why don't I see like a big miracle happen like they do in the Bible? I'm like, Well, sometimes we have miracles happening all around us, but we're just not paying attention.
Right.
And they're happening, right outside our door, or people around us are, saying things to us, and, people's lives are changed, but we're not paying attention. So the miracles are happening. We just need to look and see them.
Totally.
God moves all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a perspective thing, I think, too.
Yeah. I love that. I think that we're really good at taking things personally that are negative.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're talking about is the flip side of that. Is like, well, what if I took all these little things,
Mm-hmm.
these little like glimpses of God, and I took that really personally, anything from a sunset to my favorite song on the radio, like
Mm-hmm.
I can take that personally, and that can really be transformative. Like, oh, actually, he is laboring to love me in all these ways. And for me, one of those things was as I called the priest that I was in touch with often throughout high school and college,
Mm-hmm.
shortly after this experience, and I just said, hey, this is kind of what happened, and I just want to talk it through, and I think I might ask for an application to go to seminary.
Mm-hmm.
And the priest who had known me for many years, he said, you have no idea how long I was waiting for you to say that.
Wow.
And he just waited so patiently. And the beautiful providential thing in all of this is that priest was Father Brian Fisher.
No way.
Yeah. And so we go way back, and for him to have been part of my journey in discernment, and then to be assigned here, that's just one of my recent examples of like, wow, to be assigned here with my classmate, Father Joe Martin, and then with Father Fisher is such a gift, and something that I can take personally from God.
That's so cool. It all comes full circle.
Yeah, totally.
All these connections that you made. Okay, so now you're in seminary. All right. So you're with Father Martin.
With Father Martin from day one. We entered the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And my mindset was, well, Jesus, you have 2 years to hurry up and tell me I'm not supposed to be a priest. That was my mindset going into seminary. And I was waiting every day of seminary, basically. And I was giving myself well to formation and to classes and things. But whenever there would be a homily or a formation conference, I was on the edge of my seat, hoping to hear something that would disqualify me. Like hoping to hear something that would give me permission to leave and go back to my plan and my life. And so it was an exhausting way to live the first 7 months of seminary, as you can imagine. And one day I just realized, like, you know what, Jesus, you led me here. And so I'm just going to take it one day at a time. No more of this like arbitrary 2-year timeline that I made up. And over those years, there was just more and more peace and freedom. And someone asked me, like, when did you know for sure that you weren't turning back, that you were like going to go through with it? And I was like, oh, probably like the morning of my diaconate ordination, basically. Like up until then, there was still like an opening of like, all right, Jesus, if you part the clouds and tell me to go get married, like I'm game. Right. But yeah, the peace and freedom was just growing little by little. Yeah.
Because you still were holding on to like, maybe I'm meant to be a father and a husband.
Well, that's what's really beautiful. I mean, even now, like that desire's not gone, and praise God, because they would say early in seminary that someone who wouldn't make a good husband and father wouldn't make a good spiritual father, That's true. And so it's such an important desire, and it was huge for me to realize that God didn't want me to like put that desire on the shelf. This desire to be a husband and father. In fact, he wanted to fulfill it in a way that was more beautiful than I could ever imagine. Like, oh, you've actually given me a heart. What does it mean to have a priestly heart? You've given me a heart for more than one household. You actually want me to be a father to more than one household. And he wanted to fulfill that desire in a bigger way. And so that was really freeing. You want to use this desire. I don't need to stuff it down.
That's awesome. So what would you say is your most fulfilling thing about being a priest?
Yeah. I love watching grace at work in people's lives in real time. And often that happens in the sacrament of confession, to see how earnestly people desire healing and mercy, and seeing how much the Father desires to give it, that mercy, or the things that he has orchestrated to bring them back, however long they'd been away, like he's laboring to bring them back, is just such a beautiful thing. Or I think of certain families that I've walked with the last few years, families that at first they're just there for their child's baptism.
Right.
And then that ends up them asking questions. And then the next thing you know, they're in OCIA. Or someone who I meet after Mass and they're back at Mass for the first time in over a decade. And like something drew me to them, and we pray and there's tears. And then like And so just to be able to walk with people and to see these beautiful movements of God laboring to love them.
Right.
It's such a privileged place as a priest.
That's awesome. It's amazing to see as a parent, like how much you grow in your own faith when you're trying to bring your kid into the faith. It actually does kind of the opposite. Like your kid brings you more into the faith than even maybe you bring the kid into faith.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's almost like you said, like they might have just been, all right, we're going to get them baptized,
right.
but that might be kind of the end of it in their mind until they really start to form. And they're like, oh, wait, we want to know more about our own faith now.
Yeah.
And the kids growing in their faith brings the parents in as well.
Yeah, totally. And even that's part of God's plan is like he knew in his patience and his timing that that the child would have that effect on a parent.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing. All right. So do you have any like saints or people in your life that have really inspired you and like been your guidance?
Yeah, St. John Paul II is a big inspiration for me. I studied some of his writings my senior year of college. It was a senior seminar at St. John Paul II. And at this time, I didn't really share with many people that I was thinking of going to seminary. It's a small enough school that I'm not a big fan of labels, so I didn't want anyone to like, oh, this is the guy that's going to go to seminary. So I didn't tell very many people, but it was very consoling to me in that year and also in the years to follow as I watched my friends get married and start to have kids, and I was just in school still. It was consoling to see in the life of St. John Paul II as a priest and as a bishop and even as a cardinal that he fostered this relationship with students and with friends that really allowed him to walk with families and that it was his sharing of life with these families that helped to inform his theology of the body. And so to see just the way that he could still be a father and a friend, but as a priest was just really, really inspiring to me and really encouraging.
Yeah, and thank goodness for his theology of the body in today's world. It was perfect timing when he wrote all that. All right, so we're gonna get into some of the fun questions.
Sure.
The fun facts about you. So what would you say your favorite like weekend activity would be if you had just a fun weekend to go do something?
It's kind of a funny hobby, a strange hobby. I really like rock climbing. Yeah. So whether that's indoor or outdoor, it's something I've done since high school. And so there's a number of friends that I have that will go to different places or we'll go and climb inside. And so, but anything outdoor, anything with people, I'm a big extrovert. Hiking, mountain biking, all kinds of things, any kind of sport.
Yeah, I can tell you're outdoorsy because your water bottle with all the stickers.
Yeah.
You can spot a person who's like outdoor adventure by their water bottle.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like Colorado and like all the places. So yeah, I can see that. That's awesome. Yeah, I love. Likewise, I used to work at a rock climbing wall.
Oh, you did?
In college? Yeah, at Missouri State. Like it's a hobby of mine too.
Nice.
It's fun.
Yeah.
My kids love it too.
Yeah.
It's great. And you've been to like Arkansas and Kyle's Landing, all that.
I haven't been to Arkansas.
Oh, you should go there.
You've been?
I did in college, yeah. It's really fun. Outdoor climbing, yeah.
It's like Red River Gorge?
I'm not sure exactly, but I know it's, Kyle's Landing. I think it's just right outside of Missouri, like right
Sure.
kind of near the border.
Yeah, I've climbed a fair bit. Like Southern Illinois has some good climbing, and there's some that's actually like down 109. There's a spot. So.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah, we can go. We can go sometime.
That'd be fun. I haven't done it in years. Yeah, kids, take up all my time now.
Sure.
But. All right. So, what's your favorite song or artist?
My favorite song. There's the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal. The CFRs. Most of them are out in the Bronx. One of them makes music. Brother Isaiah. He's on Spotify, and it's really well done. It's kind of like a folk kind of music.
I'm gonna write this down because I'm gonna check it out.
Oh yeah,
Brother Isaiah.
Brother Isaiah.
Okay, so he's a monk and
he's a friar.
Friar. What kind of style music is that?
It's kind of folky. It's maybe a little alternative, but mostly folk. But yeah, it's really well done. It's really prayerful. It has a lot of I think it's prayerful and it's easy to listen to. So I would say that's probably
your favorite.
It's on my Spotify top top listens.
Top
He's probably
listens.
my favorite.
All right. So what would you prefer, breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Kind of food?
Yeah, like if
Or-
you had to have a meal, your favorite meal of the day, is it breakfast,
I
lunch, or
would-
dinner?
I would eat breakfast food 3 meals a day.
I feel like a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I don't like breakfast so much.
Really?
Because I'm not a morning person. So I'm like, when breakfast is happening, it's because, I had to get up.
Sure.
But I know why people love it, but it's just like, not for me.
Like a breakfast burrito?
A good breakfast burrito.
A good breakfast burrito.
Should check out Gingham's. You like Gingham's?
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, they're St. Charles. It's great.
Okay.
They've been around a long time.
Nice.
All right. Do you play any sports now, or did you in the past?
Yeah, I ran track in college. So pole vault was my main event.
Oh, wow.
I did a little bit of javelin. I played baseball and football in high school. But yeah, really anything outdoor,
Mm-hmm.
all sports. I'm happy to. So volleyball, soccer, basketball is probably my worst sport. Golf, I'm not much of a golfer, but I think that might change being here with Father Fisher and Father Martin.
Do they like to golf?
They do, yeah.
Yeah. I know Father Dieter's like to golf. Doesn't Father Martin like to play tennis?
He does.
Yeah.
He's good at tennis.
Oh, so you're not a tennis player, though?
No, I play tennis.
You do?
I have too many hobbies is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to make time for all of these things. But yeah, I'll play tennis. Pickleball is very fun. Getting into pickleball lately. Yeah.
Same here. My husband and I just joined the Frankie Martin League.
Oh, there you go.
And we're all right, but I'm kind of getting hooked on it now.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
I'm working on my dink game. I'm not very good at it yet.
Yeah.
That's hard. Dinking
It
is
is.
harder than it looks. All right. One word to describe yourself.
It's funny, in our end of the year evaluations, one of my formators had the habit of using like an ACT word to describe me that I would have to like go and look up later after the fact.
And you didn't know what it meant when.
Well, I wasn't. The context is helpful, but I wasn't 100% sure. It's not a word you hear very often. And so my friends will sometimes repeat this word. It's kind of been a running joke since that year of seminary. Jocular is one of the words. Exactly.
What?
No, that's the right. No one usually uses that word.
Jocular.
Yeah, it's kind of like a playful, like a playful spirit. But it kind of has like, there's maybe like an intensity to it. The other word was pugnacious.
Pugnacious.
And so
They're
that's
both
kind of
fun
like
words,
they
but
are fun words.
I've never heard of either one.
Right, exactly. There we go. We'll have to put a link to the
Yeah,
definition.
I'll put the definition of it on this video. What is pugnacious?
Pugnacious is a little more. Well, I'm direct, I guess, is one way to say it. I'm direct, and so yeah, I think pugnacious is still kind of like maybe has a playful side to it, but it's also like not afraid of conflict, like not afraid of being direct, but not looking for a fight, but just okay with a little bit of tension and a little bit of conflict.
Well, we have pugnacious in my Italian side of the family, so I understand that very well. I'm just gonna tell you how it is, exactly what they're thinking. So.
But the non-ACT word would be direct. I feel like I'm direct.
Okay. All right. So if you had a genie and you got one wish granted, what would you wish?
And that's assuming that I can't wish for more wishes, or
no. You got the rules of Aladdin.
Rules.
All right.
Okay.
You can't get anyone raised from the dead.
Sure.
You can't make any fall up.
Right.
Yeah.
One wish. This another word to describe me would be serious. And so like my initial response to these questions is like, oh, what's like a serious response? What's like a profound response? But these are the fun questions. So
yeah, you can make it as fun.
I would.
Or as not fun as you want.
Yeah, it's hard to wish for anything other than like being a saint. That's just like,
and that's the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
Like getting to sainthood.
Yeah. So that would be my serious answer. Would be to be a holy priest and to be a saint. And it's nice that we don't have to wish for those things, that we can like ask for those things. But what would be my non-serious wish? I don't know. I would like to like climb Everest. That's probably like a pretty ridiculous, not practical desire. So that would be my wish, that I could like have the resources and time to do such a thing.
And tolerance
safely,
for cold.
Safely, yeah.
Well, that's a cool answer though. I like that. I like the saint one, but I also, it's
There you
the
go.
fun one too. All right. So last question. If you could master any skill, what would it be?
I have always wanted to be able to do a standing backflip.
Oh, that would be cool.
And I've landed one at least once unspotted.
Wow.
But then I haven't, that was years ago.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that you kind of need to keep going. So I haven't mastered it.
But you did it. You can say you've done it.
I've done it.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's pretty cool. I mean, how many people can ever say they've done a backflip?
Right.
And not just like landed on their head or something.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I'm glad we got to do this and getting to know you. And I'm hoping the parish, watches this and comes up to you and asks you about all your hobbies and your rock climbing.
About SAT words and backflips.
Yeah. Your words to describe you that nobody's going to know what they mean.
Right. And thanks to Suz. This has been great. It's been a lot of fun, and maybe we'll go climb sometime.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.